All right. Hey, everybody, it's Bill Gilliland here, and I'm joined by my longtime friend, Brian Koerner, who's also been a client for a long time. And so we've done some fun stuff together, and we've had some good business as well. So welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, it's great seeing you again. You definitely, we definitely have had a lot of good fun together. Made a lot of great decisions together, and you definitely have kind of given me some ideas that have really improved my business. So
right. Yeah. So why don't we back up a minute and just kind of tell us a little bit about your business? Just give us the quick history of Engineering Solutions and kind of where it started and maybe where it is today.
Okay. Yeah, sure, for sure. So in 2004, I started Engineering Solutions with one other partner and I guess one other financial backer involved with it. And, we did civil engineering, structural engineering, started off, small business, 2 people, working their butts off, trying to, get ahead in the world. And, did that for, I guess, 5 years until, kind of making the grind and kind of going through it. And, around 2009, the economy started tanking and realized I can't do this alone. I really have to figure out kind of how to get my business squared away and get further ahead. And, I think, realizing I went to school as Michigan Tech and University of Wyoming, got my graduate degree, all in engineering, never had a single business class. So I was kind of, behind the 8 ball on that one, trying to figure out how to run a business, try to figure out, how to read a profit and loss statement, how to project some income, all these items you kind of, I now have learned more about and realize there's even more to learn, but realize that that I needed help and really, thinking about it, you see all the, we just got done with the Super Bowl and when you see that, you see all these coaches on the sideline coaching, you have a, head coach and you have a, defensive coach and a special team coach. You have all these coaches and, realize what, I really need to get some help. So went to a presentation that Bill and Johnny had given and, kind of made me think what, this might be what I really need to do for my business, that I need a little bit of help. And, that was definitely the turning point of my business. I'll show you a little slide here. Let me share my screen. So this is our structural revenue. So now we were a civil engineering and a structural engineering firm. Now we're just slowly a structural engineering firm. You can see where we started in 2004 as the economy started tanking down in 2009. And that's when I turned to Bill and I was like, okay, we need to figure out how this is. And you can see the growth that we've gone through. And we did a little over $1.7 million last year. And has definitely grown my business to beyond wherever I thought was possible. So Bill, I'm very thankful that our paths crossed and that I took the investment in myself and in my business to join with ActionCOACH.
Yeah. So the actual trigger was you didn't know what you were looking for, but you were looking for something.
I was looking, I knew I had more capacity and I knew there was more out there for me. I didn't know how to go about it. My engineering skills were great, right? But the skills, they don't teach you that in engineering school. So
yeah.
One of the things I really need to figure out.
Yeah. So where do you think you'd be if you hadn't invested in coaching?
I probably would have, my business wouldn't be as large as it is now. It wouldn't have grown as it has. And also, I don't think I'd be as good of a person or good of a leader as I would be, by going through the coaching and then also, improving myself. I've really I would like to think I've become a better leader.
Yeah. So what do you, one of the things is, how much of it do you think is like the implementation of strategies versus the improved or the mindset side of things?
Well, definitely the mindset helps, having a positive mindset, trying to figure out how do we, we're keeping the positive thoughts and going after things and, the law of attraction. But on the other hand, there's some basic business principles that we kind of went through on the business side of things. And even those simple things made a huge difference. Talking about the 5 ways, when you look at the 5 ways of business and how it's amazing how it applies to all businesses, no matter where they are, that those 5 ways really make a huge difference in your business. And you improve what you your whatever you're kind of tracking and measuring, that's what you're going to improve, or at least you like to. So
yeah. So what, are there any specific strategies that jump out that when we implemented them really made a big difference, or was it a combination of a whole bunch?
Well, I think there was a lot of different ones. I think most recently as we've grown, we're up to 16, a team of 16 people right now. So going from 2 people to 16 is a big difference. But
Yeah.
just recently, well, I guess probably one of the first books I read, Bill, that you gave me was The Referral of a Lifetime. And, just recently we kind of went through it again and kind of picked up even more. So it was one of those resources, that
Right. Yeah. It's a great book. Yeah.
that the book kind of has, that you realize, like, it's, the referral of a lifetime is that it's you surround yourself with those people that you want to do business with. And those are the people that can help you. Everyone wants to see you succeed, right? So
That's
or at least most people want to see you succeed. Maybe your competition doesn't, but I think the referral of a lifetime really kind of opens up your eyes and realizes that you're surrounded by these people. You just have to tap the right people to be to kind of sing your praises, and I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah. So in applying some of these strategies, I mean, how would you rate the difficulty of applying the strategies?
Oh, I think that's the thing is I think if you talk to most of the clients in the coaching field, is you realize, like, some of the most basic principles have the biggest impact. I went to a great conference or a seminar that Brad put together. I'm out there in Las Vegas, and you were with me, Bill, where we kind of did the flip chart training, and where
Yep.
you get away from all the PowerPoints and all these fancy presentations, and you get your mindset right, and you go up there and you create a presentation that's flexible, and it's catered to your clients' needs. And as they ask questions, you can kind of gear towards that. So I think it goes to the basics. It doesn't do anything complicated. I think that's the biggest thing to me is, like the flip chart and asking people for a referral. Those, just the simple basic principles. I mean, there's, when we look at those 5 ways, there's, 100 of ideas of ways that you can implement each one of those 5 ways. And a lot of them are not very complicated, but you also don't want to get overwhelmed. So you pick 1 or 2 or 3 and work on those. And then when you test and measure them, you realize that, how your business can improve.
Yeah. So those 5 ways, for those who might not know, are improving your margins, leads, conversion rate of those leads, repeat business, so a number of transactions, and then also your average ticket or average dollar sale. So yeah, and making little changes. I guess what you're saying is you made little changes, a lot of little changes, and they all added up at the end of the day.
Oh, definitely. And that's just like with the 5 ways, it's one of those things where when you look at it, it's, they just don't add up. They multiply, right? So that they grow exponentially. And I think that's the thing that you realize is that, and we have all these different tools, and it's hard, it's easy to get overwhelmed, but when you really get down to the basics, it's fairly simple. Reading Brad's last book on that, pulling profits out of a hat, there's nothing profound. There's nothing that hasn't been said before, but when you pull it all in one book, you realize, like, the success in your business, if you focus on it and, you're intentional on your thoughts, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So what do you think, a big part of coaching is outside looking in, but a big part of it also is just the fact that, I'm going to call you every week or 2. And there's some accountability there. I mean, you could have just read The Referral of a Lifetime, or, some of the other books that we've read over the years. What do you think how much do you think you would have gotten done just by reading the books versus having that accountability?
I mean, for sure I would have got some stuff done, right? It's like, you can read a book and go through it. And, I think, one thing is the accountability of myself is, I like to not think of myself as a procrastinator. I like to think as deadline oriented. And so, there's a lot of times where, when I had a call on a Tuesday afternoon with you, Bill, Tuesday morning, it's like, okay, what was all the stuff I needed to get done for this week? And But then, you realize like when you really dedicate that time and block out everything else, all the distractions, that, that's the part of the business I really liked. And so you realize that, it's an accountability partner where, you can put something on your schedule, but, if you don't like to do it, you're not going to do it. If you don't like to balance your checkbook, you're not going to balance your checkbook. But if you have an accountability partner that says, hey, we need to make sure that checkbook's balanced by the end of today, then you're going to do it. It's like, you aren't putting shame on anyone. You're just kind of, by just having that meeting, that, oh yeah, you know what, I need to make sure I get this done. And there's all sorts of different pieces, that we have talked about, that we looked at, the whole idea that 80% of your revenue from your company comes from 20% of your clients. And, it's a really basic principle. And you know what, when we break it down at the, every quarter and look at it, sure enough, like, those 20% of those clients, or 20% of that, those clients in there, those are the ones that we really need to focus on. So it's not like we have to, we don't have to talk about thousands of different clients. What we really need to do is work on the ones, and when we're grading our clients, is figuring out like who are the ones that have the most potential for us.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a strategy, right? A, B, and C,
Yeah.
and digging your clients to work with the A's and B's.
And for all my clients that are listening to this, you're all A's.
Yeah, that's right. They're all A's. Well, it's like everything else. You got to have, on a basketball team, can't everybody be a superstar, and you can't have, you need the bench players to be able to put a team together. So it's an interesting one to put the team. So, you've referred several people to me as well, and you've got a pretty good idea about it. Who do you think would not be suitable for coaching?
I think, there's not a single type of business that's not suitable. I think the type of person that's not suitable is the know-it-all. Is the guy that says, oh, I know. Oh yeah, I know. And that's, we've talked about that. I think it probably comes up in almost every big coaching session, that we have a whole bunch of people together, and the worst thing you can tell someone is I know. You've already closed your ears and you've made up your mind, and there's no change in that. You got to be open to change. You got to be willing to make a difference. And I think, there's, like I said, there's no business that's not suitable, but there are people that are not suitable. So we really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's just nice to hear it from outside perspective there. So what's the next steps for Engineering Solutions and Brian Koerner? Where are you headed with the business?
Yeah, we got some exciting things ahead of us for 2020. We're growing our team. We're opening a new office in Richmond, Virginia, so that makes our third office. And I think we're kind of entering that market, and we've kind of come up with some ideas and some strategies with you, Bill, that I think are going to make a big difference in 2020. So we're kind of set to set ourselves up for success. I think that's the thing, is like we have to make sure that that plan is implemented. And as you can see, you look at that line, it goes up, and it's going to keep on projecting. We're ready to grow. We have the right team in place, and we're ready to conquer whatever we need to conquer this year. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's exciting stuff. I do think 2020 is going to be a good year, and I appreciate you being on the call. Is there anything else you'd like to say, or any advice you'd give to any other business owners out there?
Well, I think, I wish, my biggest regret about the coaching was that, I didn't start in 2000, in 2001 when I first moved to Virginia. I think about when I was with my other employer, how much more I could have given them, and how much better I would have been for myself. And I think, there's no time like starting now to start your business or start with coaching, because I think it's one of those things that you really don't realize your full potential until you really get down to it and get down to the basics and realize what you can do. So I really appreciate you bringing out the best of me, Bill.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thanks for the nice words. And it's been a pleasure. My best clients, or my clients, always become my friends. So it's kind of works both ways. It's a good thing. So yeah, I look forward to getting with you and fishing a little bit in the.
I was gonna say, next time you get up to Virginia, let's do a little trout fishing
in the spring, maybe. So yeah, thanks for being on here.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Bill.